Hey guys, sorry it's been a rough couple weeks. I kind of got burnt out after all of the dance lessons and everything, and then I'm leaving out of town for Japan tomorrow. So yeah, so I've been just struggling to try to get everything in order before I go out of town. Uh, I still could have been making videos, no excuses, but here I'm back. Hopefully, hope to keep it up while I'm in Japan this week. So look for some Japan videos, maybe, hopefully. Um, I don't know if I told this before. I feel like I have in another video, but maybe I'll talk about it again because it's all mushed up into the same kind of topic. Um, so like, so one thing is about dating. This is how I always see myself. I kind of it's weird because you never actually physically see yourself, right? Because your eyes are just like the lens, and you look out and you're like looking at a camera. So you never actually see your actual face, and then you look into a mirror and you see a reflection of your face, but you don't ever actually see yourself. So it's hard because sometimes you don't actually see how people like. I don't think sometimes you realize how other people see you. So I remember growing up, uh, my mom. I think I asked my mom like, "Oh, well, why'd you marry dad?" And then she was like, "Oh yeah, cause I know he was the hardest worker. He really wasn't my type, David. Your dad really wasn't my type, but yeah, he worked so hard and tried so hard, and I knew he was gonna try hard, like to provide for his family. So that's how I knew he was the right guy." And it's I don't know if it's I don't want to say stupid, but I felt kind of dumb because I always took that to heart, and I thought that was the right advice, and I thought that was what women wanted or what women would look for in a guy. So like all my life I was like always trying hard. Like when I played sports, I would always be like I was and I've always said this, I wasn't the fastest guy, I wasn't the strongest guy, I wasn't the coolest. Things didn't come naturally, you know? But you know what? No one was going to outwork me. Like that's one thing that always happened in basketball. Like I would always anytime there was a fast break, I would always chase the guy down. Maybe I didn't stop him, but I wouldn't let him have a clear, easy basket. You know, there was a rebound, the ball was on the floor, I was diving for it. It didn't matter if it was like concrete or basketball indoors. I was diving for it. My friends would always laugh at me. It was like, "Why, dude? Why are you trying so hard? Why are you diving on the floor for a ball? It's just a ball. It's just one loose ball." Because like I felt like that's what I had. That's the advantage I had. That's the thing I could provide that other people couldn't provide. And I think that kind of a lot of it came from talking to my mom and hearing her say that about my dad, and that's the reason why she married him. But yeah, but it's funny because um, there was a time in my life when I realized that like that was it's weird because when I was young, I was kind of like a nerd, like chubby Chinese kid in middle school. Maybe I can find a picture. But yeah, I was a chubby Chinese kid, and like my mom would dress me up in like this, like typical Asian fob wear. Like I had like it was terrible, man. It's so bad. And I wasn't cool at all, and I was nervous around girls. And like yeah, like in middle school, I couldn't ask anybody out because everybody like yeah, just tongue tied, and it's terrible. And then I got to college, and I always had a lot of girl friends because I was I got along with girls just fine. My mom taught me to be respectful, and so I always got along with girls fine. Like even to the point where they would just come to my house and watch anime. They'd have boyfriends, but they I was not very threatening to them, or if I was, I didn't make any moves. So I'm always respectful, and in college I got real comfortable around girls, and like I remember I had a roommate that was like, "Dude, do they know you're not gay?" Just because. And so like I got really like comfortable and cool and it got along, and then late after college, I started kind of seeing people, and like I noticed that there was a lot of girls who wouldn't feel like wouldn't want to date me, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And like through talking to them, you'd find out like they were like, well, I don't trust you, David. You get along with girls too well. Like originally I wasn't cool enough. I was too big of a nerd, and girls didn't want to date me. And now I'm too like smooth and to get along with girls that they don't trust me and they don't want to date me either. So it became this huge like conundrum. Is like, well, then what do I need to do? What do I need to do to convince people that I don't know. I still to this day I still kind of haven't figured it out. I'm kind of caught in two different like situations, two different worlds. Um, I can't tell, and I mean you can't tell the mind of of another person, let alone a woman. So it's funny. It really is funny. Um, I can't say that I'm worried about it. It's not like I like sit up at night and like, oh man, I wonder what's gonna happen, man. Am I gonna be single for the rest of my life? I don't think it's a situation like that. I think sometimes I think about it and I ask my mom, and my mom's like, "Yeah, no, don't worry about it, David. When it's meant to work out, it'll work out." And and I've always had a very unconventional life. I've had an unconventional mindset and upbringing. Um, and I don't know if you remember me talking about my fortune teller experience. He told me I was not only an alien but a double alien. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it'll be funny to see how it works out. It, yeah, because I mean, there's been times when I thought I met the right person, and either it wasn't the right person or I changed my mind. Because it's funny. It's funny how in my relationships, like how I've gone into my different relationships thinking I was wanting something. Like I went into one thinking, oh, I want this, and then when I get out of it, I'm like, oh, okay. And now I realize that's not really what I wanted. Whoops. I guess I really want this then, huh? And then, so every time you go in a relationship, you kind of like, realize like, oh, okay, well, that's really not as important as I thought it was, or this is more important now that I see that. Like, for instance, one thing that I thought was really important in relationships, I'm if you look at all the video games and stuff around in the back, I thought video games were like having a mutual hobby, something that y'all could bond over. I thought that was a big, important thing. And it kind of is, I guess, it's nice to have that, but really, really it doesn't really, as long as she kind of like, or he or she, I guess it's different. As long as he or she doesn't like resent you for it, like if I don't think I could date somebody who's like, dude, I freaking hate video games. Don't ever play them. Like they didn't understand. Like I've talked about like working out and why I like working out, and like if I dated someone who never worked out or never understood the importance of why I want to work out, then then you have some problems. But it doesn't have to be somebody who like I run every day and then she has to run every day too, and then like we run together or something. I always thought that would be like a big deal. Like either running or video games or something that you could do together. I always thought that was going to be like a huge deciding factor. And after a few relationships, I'm like, it's not really as big. It's not really as big as I thought it was. There's some other things. Maybe that's what I'll talk about. Maybe I'll end it here. Maybe next video I'll talk about what I think is, well, what I'm looking for or what I think is important. Yeah, that's a good place to stop it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.